Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Hope you like my hat. So today's video is going to be a Subway worker Q&A. So if you hadn't guessed already, I work in Subway. I have two jobs, which I've mentioned before on this channel. I work in a children's nursery and I work in Subway, the food place, a couple of days a week. And in the holidays, I work there a little bit extra. So yeah, today's video is basically going to be a Q&A on some questions that people on my Instagram have popped up for me. So on Sunday, or maybe it was Monday, can't remember, one day last week I put up a video on Instagram and I just said, thinking of doing a Subway worker Q&A, is there any questions you want to know? Let me know and I will answer them in a video for you. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. So just before we get into the video, if you're new here, then welcome. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel because that would be awesome. And if you are coming back, then welcome back. I've missed you guys. I hope you're all okay. So let's get into the video. So I wrote down all the questions that I was asked in this little book. Basically, we're just going to go through them. I'll answer them as best as I can. And yeah, if there's any other questions people might have, just pop them in the comment section down below and I will answer them as soon as possible for you. Okay, so the first question is, how long have you worked for Subway? So I think I've worked for Subway about 4.5 years. Basically, my mum has worked in this particular store of Subway for 14 years. And about 5 years ago, in the summer, they had about 6 members of staff go back to their homes. You know, they didn't want to work in the UK anymore, so they went back home. Most of them were students. So she said, oh my gosh, we're so short-staffed. Is there any chance you can just help us out during the summer holiday? And I thought, yeah, why not? I'm not doing anything. It's a bit of extra cash. So I helped out and I've been there pretty much ever since. So I do Mondays and Sundays at Subway. These two next questions aren't particularly Subway related, but they do sort of link in. They're really lovely questions, so I'm going to answer them anyway. The first question is, what made you start YouTube? Basically, I started YouTube because I was feeling lonely and a little bit sort of out of it. I mean, I've got friends and I've got family and I love all of them. But sometimes I just feel like, you know, that there was something that I was supposed to be doing that I wasn't doing. And I loved YouTube, watched it for ages, you know, who doesn't watch YouTube? And then one day I just thought, I could do that. You know, I have so much that I want to talk about. I love talking to people. And I love sort of, you know, talking about the things I buy and the things I do. And I thought, you know, maybe this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So yeah, I spoke to a few people and then I just sort of bit the bullet and started. And it's been an amazing journey. I've only been doing YouTube since January, so it's really not that long, but I love it. I absolutely love it, and I've met some wonderful people and I wouldn't change it for the world. The next question is, how did you meet your boyfriend? So this one kind of does link in with Subway because I actually met him in Subway. So Dre is a builder and I think I'd been working at Subway about 6-7 months, and there was a pub / bar that was opening down the road. And because I work early in the morning till sort of late afternoon, I do 7 till 3. He used to come in every morning for a coffee. And originally when he used to come in, he used to mumble the whole way down the sandwich line. And I'd be like, oh my gosh. And every time he came in, I'd be like, oh, I hate him. It's the mumbly guy. He knows all of this, so this isn't new to him. But yeah, he used to mumble, he used to wind me up. And one day I thought, right, I'm going to try and get a bit of conversation out of this mumbly idiot. And I said to him, I was like, oh, so what do you do? Like, meaning work-wise. And he mumbled, and I honestly had no idea what he said. Just like you probably have no idea what I just said. And I said, you work in the air? Like, all confused. because that's exactly what it sounded like. And he was like, no, I work over there, you idiot. And I was like, rude, honestly. And since then, we sort of just started chatting every time he came in, having a bit of a laugh. And one of the girls that used to work there at the time, I think I went in after going to the cinema with my sister one evening, and just to say hi to her. And she was like, oh, you know that builder bloke? Yeah, he gave me his number to give to you a couple of weeks back, and I haven't seen you since, so I completely forgot. And I was like, oh my goodness, he's been coming in the shop. I've been chatting to him like everything's completely normal. And the poor bugger gave his number to this girl to give to me, and obviously I hadn't had it, so he must have been thinking, oh, like, a horrible cow, she's just completely like ignored the fact that I've given her my number. So I got this girl to give me his number, and I felt so bad. So I texted him and I just sort of said, you know, I'm really, really sorry, I've only just got your number, like I wasn't ignoring you or trying to be rude or anything. I feel really bad. And it just went from there, really. And we've been together 3.5 years. So, yeah, that's how I met Dre. The next question is, do you make the bread yourselves? I'm not sure if I'm supposed to tell people this. I don't really know. But as so many people work in Subway, I figure most people know anyway. The bread actually comes in frozen sticks. And we have to defrost them in something called a retarder. It's basically like a metal cabinet in a fridge, and you put them all in there, and they take about 8 hours to defrost. And then you have to spray them with water, roll them in their toppings, so like the honey oat or the herb and cheese or the hearty Italian. You roll them in that, pop them in their bread forms, and then you have to put them in what's called a proofer. Proofer, basically, it's like a humidifier. It uses water to create heat so that the bread can sort of expand to the right size. So they sit in the proofer for, I think it's an hour. 20, yeah. They sit in the proofer for an hour, or until they're sort of about that big, width-wise. And then they go up into the oven, and they go into the oven for 12 minutes. So yeah, we don't make the bread, but we do all the proofing and the getting it ready to be baked. The next question is, do you get free food? Yes, to an extent. We're allowed cup drinks throughout the day, so any sort of cup drinks we want. Bottles, we're not really supposed to have unless it's water, because obviously they cost a lot more money than the cup drinks do, or the fountain drinks. And then in terms of sandwiches, if you work over 4 hours, you're entitled to a 6-inch sub, and if you work over 6.5 hours, you're entitled to a foot-long sub. So yeah, on my daily shift from 7 till 3, I will be entitled to a foot-long sub. So yeah, you do get free food to an extent, which is pretty cool. The next question is, have you gained weight since starting? I've always been quite slim. My nickname at college was Twiggy, from the girl I used to get on the bus with, because I look like a twig. And I can't decide whether it's through working at Subway or being with Dre, and you know, when you get in a relationship you get comfortable, don't you, and you just sort of eat what you want, and you do put on a little bit of weight. So I can't decide if it's from working at Subway or being with Dre and working at Subway and just feeling generally quite comfortable. But I used to weigh 7.5 stone. I now weigh 9.5, if you can believe it. Everyone says to me, it's like, oh, where does it sit? No idea, but I weigh 9.5 stone. So the next question is, what is your favourite Subway filling? I tend to change it up. I like to try the different subs that come out, unless they're chicken. I'm not a huge fan of chicken. But I will tend to have a veggie sub, so it'll be a 6-inch herb and cheese, or plain Italian. I can vary between breads depending on what I fancy. But it'll usually be a 6-inch herb and cheese with a little bit of marinara sauce and grated cheese toasted. And then it'll be a little bit of lettuce, a lot of onions, a few jalapenos, maybe a tomato or two, some salt, mayonnaise and sweet chili sauce. And that is like my favourite sub. What is the most commonly ordered sub? It's a difficult one because we've just had new ones bought out. But I think the ones that you get ordered on a day-to-day basis are probably your BMTs, which is pepperoni, salami and ham. You always get BMT. Meatball is quite another popular one. And I'd probably say turkey and ham is another really popular one. So I'd say there's probably 3 that people tend to sort of choose between. There's another. The next question is there anything that really annoys you about Subway? It's a difficult one. So in particular in our store, we're due a refurb. So a lot of our equipment and things are old and they need we need new ones. So sometimes things can break quite easily, and obviously it makes the job so much harder if something's broken. But it tends to be the other staff. Like, because I tend to do openings, so Monday mornings I'll open, Sunday mornings I'll open. Obviously you've had the person the night before do the night shift. If they haven't done something, or like say they haven't put the bread into defrost, or they've used up a load of meat products and haven't prepped any new ones, that can be really irritating because you come in expecting everything to be ready to go for that next day, and if your bread isn't in for defrost, you've got 8 hours where you're not going to have any bread for those customers. So then you have to start sort of like trying to find ways of getting that bread to do its stuff quicker, which is really difficult. And if you run out of meat, the minute you open that door, you just know someone's going to come in and they're going to want exactly what you don't have, which can be quite awful because obviously you're a food place, so they're expecting you to have everything they want, and if you haven't got it, people can get quite upset, which is fair enough. So yeah, it tends to be the staff that don't do things properly. I mean, I know we all forget things, I probably forget things, but that's probably what annoys me most. Is there something that customers do that annoy you? Yes. Customers, the customer's always right rule is crap. They are not always right, and the only problem is when you work in retail, you have to make them feel like they're right, which is horrendous. Especially when you're a little bit like me and you can't quite control your facial expressions. Like if someone says something stupid, I can feel my face just go, you know, it's really bad. I have to control it. And because I work with my mum, she often says to me, like, you let your face get away with you a little bit there. And I do feel terrible because I think I didn't mean to, but like I can't help it. But I think the main things that customers do that really annoy me is when they come in and they've been in the queue for a long time. So it's busy, you've got a queue full of people and they've been in the queue a long time, and they get to you and you say, okay, hiya, what would you like? And they still stand there and go, oh, I don't really know. And it's like, well, you've been in the queue for like 5 minutes. How have you not made your decision by now? You know, I don't know whether it's they'd like to see what's in front of them, or they just don't want to look at the posters. I don't know, but it drives me mad. That, and changing their order halfway through. That's another one that really bugs me. I suppose it's like a little story time now, but I had a student, because I'm 23, so when I go to college, I'm past that part of my life. So we have students come in, you know, they're 16, 17, and we had this boy come in, and he said to me, I want a foot-long breakfast sub. So already I'm like, okay, well, what do you want in your breakfast sub? You know, you have to make a decision: bacon, sausage, egg. So I said to him, I was like, okay, what would you like in your breakfast sub? And he said to me, bacon. So I put bacon on it, I put cheese on it, I toasted it. I took it out of the toaster, put it down, I said, okay, what salad would you like? And he said to me, oh, I didn't want that, I wanted sausage. And I thought to myself, I was like, I know he said bacon. So instantly, chucked the sandwich in the bin, started again. went to put it in the toaster and he said, no, I wanted sausage and bacon. So you can imagine my face at this point. I was just like, are you kidding me? So I literally just said to him, I was like, look, you need to know what you're having before I start making it, because I've just wasted a whole sandwich here because you told me that that's not what you wanted and you wanted sausage, and now you're telling me that you wanted both. So, you know, you need to know what you want to have. And I made a sandwich and I went off upstairs and left my mum to continue doing his order, because there were other things that needed prepping and, you know, there's a lot to do. And when I came back down, she said, oh, I think you upset him a little bit. And I said to her, I was like, well, I'm making his sandwich for him. If he doesn't know what he wants, then I've wasted a whole sandwich because he can't decide. So yeah, basically, people not knowing what they want and then changing their order drives me mad. So if you ever come to Subway in Colchester, make a friggin' decision. And the last question is, why don't Subway do gluten-free? Is there any talk of them ever doing gluten-free? So from what I can remember, it was before I started, and me and my mum have had conversations about gluten-free a lot, because people come in and they ask. And she actually said to me that they used to do a gluten-free wrap. And then for some reason they just got rid of it. I don't know whether it didn't sell very well, because obviously there aren't loads of people that are gluten-free, but there are enough to make a difference. So obviously I don't know whether it was just they weren't selling enough of the gluten-free things to think it was worth doing. But yeah, so they used to do gluten-free wraps, and now obviously they don't. But the way they see it is the salad option is gluten-free. I mean, if I was gluten-free, I wouldn't necessarily want a salad. I love bread, and I know gluten-free bread isn't the same as normal kind of bread, but I love bread. And if I want a sandwich, I want to be able to go into a sandwich shop and say, I'd like a gluten-free roll, please. And yeah, we don't do them. So off the top of my head, I don't know if we're ever going to go back to gluten-free. But like I said, they seem to class the gluten-free option as the salad option. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. I honestly have no idea about gluten-free. And we don't get an awful lot of information sent our way, to be honest. You kind of get things sent to you and you're just expected to put them into process or whatever. So yeah, they are my Q&A questions for being a Subway worker. If there is anything else you want to know, let me know in the comments section down below. If there's any myths or stories you've heard and you want to know if they're true, then also pop them in the comments section down below and I will let you know if they're true or not. It is completely honest. There's no point in hiding anything. You're going to eat there. You want to know everything, you know. So, yeah. I hope you enjoyed this Q&A. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if you haven't already and you want to enter my 200 subscriber giveaway, I will pop that in the comments section down below and you can head over there and enter. But you do have to be over 16 and you do have to be subscribed. So, yeah. Good luck, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Take care. Bye.